What level of migration is of most benefit to the UK economy? Compare GDP, job creation, living standards, public purse, impact on public infrastructure and services, and housing. Determining the most beneficial level of migration requires choosing between different economic priorities. There is a fundamental trade-off. Higher migration maximizes the total size of the economy, while moderate/highly skilled migration is better for individual living standards and public infrastructure. As of February 2026, data from the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, Office for National Statistics, ONS, and the National Institute of Economic and Social Research, NIESR, provides a clear comparison of how different levels of migration impact the UK. Comparative table. Factor. High migration is defined as around 500,000. Moderate/skilled migration is defined as 250,000 to 350,000. Low or zero migration is 0 to 100,000. The following are the effects of the following: high migration, moderate/skilled migration, and low or zero migration on various economic measures, including GDP, living standards, public purse, infrastructure, and housing. Effect on GDP. High migration results in highest growth, maximizes the labor force and aggregate demand. Moderate migration has a moderate effect on GDP growth, sustains growth by offsetting an aging population. Low migration results in economic stagnation. NIESR, February 2026, predicts a 3.6% smaller economy by 2040. Effect on living standards. High migration can be variable or neutral. More people sharing resources can dilute GDP per capita. Moderate migrations is the best balance. High-skilled focus ensures workers produce more than they cost. Low migration results in a short-term boost. Scarcity of labor may raise individual wages by around 2%, NIESR. Effect on the public purse. High migration causes a positive effect, larger tax base, lower debt to GDP ratio in the short term. Moderate skilled migration results in strongly positive. Skilled workers' households have a net positive impact of £12,000 per year. Low or zero migration has a net negative effect, £37 billion fiscal black hole by 2040 due to fewer taxpayers, NIESR. Effect on public infrastructure. High migration results in high strain, immediate pressure on transport, schools, and energy grids. Moderate skilled results in manageable rise in demand, allows capital investment to keep pace with growth. Low or zero migration causes low pressure, eases demand, but risks lack of labor to build new infrastructure. Effect on housing. High migration results in price hikes, significant upward pressure on rents and house prices. Moderate skilled migration results in steady pressure. Housing stock growth struggles to match population growth. Low or zero migration causes a cooling market, potential for lower rents, but likely construction labor shortages.
2. Key economic drivers in 2026. GDP and job creation. The scale effect. The OBR notes that adding 350,000 adults to the population typically adds 1.5% to total GDP over 5 years. The efficiency effect. Lower migration can force creative destruction. In early 2026, we are seeing low productivity zombie firms fold because they can no longer rely on cheap overseas labor. This forces the remaining firms to innovate, potentially creating higher quality, better paid jobs for domestic workers. The public purse, fiscal balance. The demographic cliff. The ONS confirmed in 2025 that UK deaths are beginning to outnumber births. Migration is now the only source of growth for the working age population. net contributors. The Migration Advisory Committee, MAC, found that a migrant arriving at age 25 and earning the UK average is a greater net contributor than a UK-born worker because the UK did not have to pay for their childhood education or healthcare. Public services and infrastructure. Staffing versus demand. This is a paradox. High migration increases demand for the NHS, yet 35 to 45% of new NHS staff are international recruits. Reducing migration to save the NHS can lead to a collapse in staffing. Staffing gaps. Following the July 2025 ban on overseas care worker dependents, vacancies in social care have spiked, causing bed blocking in hospitals, which offsets any benefit from reduced population demand. Housing. The construction gap. While migration increases housing demand, it also provides the labour to build homes. 28% of the UK's migrant workforce is in construction. Restrictionists argue for lower demand, while economists warn that without migrant bricklayers and carpenters, the 2026 target of 300,000 new homes per year becomes impossible.
Conclusion. What is the most beneficial level? Economic consensus suggests the most beneficial level is roughly 250,000 to 350,000 per year, provided it is highly skewed towards skilled workers. Below 100,000, public finances become unsustainable due to aging, requiring massive tax hikes to fund pensions. Above 500,000, GDP grows, but the quality of life, housing, commute times, and GP access typically declines for the average resident.
My conclusion. This is the most beneficial level today, but with planned migration we could do the following: recruit more GPs, build more schools and housing, invest in more infrastructure. As a nation, we can benefit from higher migration without causing friction to the local population, such as not using hotels to house migrants, not increasing the wait times for GP appointments, or putting pressure on schools. These have been capitalized upon by the far right and caused near enough civil unrest. In the year up to June 2025, net migration was at 240,000.